Well, the Champions League defence continues today as we play in a repeat of last year's final in the league phase, before we also focus on a big Premier League match. There's a big top four at the moment. We face one of them today, and we're still chasing down last season's champions Liverpool, who continue to lead the way and look ominous. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 148 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. Today, I would say is a pretty positive, nostalgic day as we go to face Atletico Madrid, the side who we beat to win our first Champions League crown last year. We also then face Arsenal at the weekend as we've got 4 or 5 pretty huge games back to back. You can see United, Liverpool and Rennes away follow that. This is going to be a pretty interesting run of games that maybe decides the season, and we're going to see a lot of it here. If you're looking forward to it, then please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. How will the squad rotation pan out here? Well, there's going to be a few big decisions to make because while normally we would probably rest people for this game with us, all but through in the Champions League and focus on the league fixtures, the fact that Arsenal, United, Liverpool are all 3 days apart mean people aren't going to be fit for all of them anyway. So I'm going to take a bit of a gamble when it comes to the home game at the weekend, perhaps. For now, though, let's go and have a look at the schedule and see what's been going on since you were last here. Because you were with me when, well, we had a pretty boring game against PSG, but we did bounce back against Norwich after that Carabao Cup scare. Since then, we've had lots of friendly fixtures on paper where we've done well. We did have one slip up at home, which was a little bit frustrating because I don't like losing home games and our away form's worrying enough. But then bottom half teams, they're not really challenging us. But you may have noticed it's not been the free-flowing, attacking style of play. It's been 1-0s, 2-0s, nothing really to lead to that, apart from the fact that we've had a couple of injuries in attacking areas recently. Liban Elmi has not played since he last scored in the Carabao Cup against Brighton. But let's have a look at the games in full. We played Reading away from home. We rested people for this one, took a gamble. A 2-1 victory thanks to Torres and Gatala after we were 1-0 down at the break. A 5-1 win at home to Rangers with a Herbert brace. He loves scoring in that competition. Fair, Elmi and Katala. A 3-1 win at home to Newcastle with Robertson, Herbert and Fair. Fair scored again alongside Liban Elmi as we won comfortably by 2-0 at Forest. 4-0 double the score at Partizan Belgrade. Ivanov, Wills, Ikechukwu and Nana Fair for a rotated side. 1-0 defeat at home to Villa was annoying, but it was due to a mitigating circumstance. We were dominating the game without scoring, then Jorg Robertson flew into one of those two-footed lunges. He was off, got a 3-game ban, and we lost it in the 95th minute when trying to hold on. We bounced back in the Carabao Cup, 2-0 win against Brighton, with Elmi and Ukulano breaking them down late on. Same score in the league, but we didn't have to wait as long for the goals, with Adamson and Nana Fair getting one apiece. Fair has found form at the right time with Elmi injured because he scored both as we won 2-1 at Marseille. Looked closer than it was due to their late goal. A 4-0 win at home to Palace with a Fair brace, Katala and Wills, all done by half-time. We were resting people late on. And then away at Chelsea, a big 1-0 win last week. A really good performance, Marciano with the penalty in the end, and Robertson picking up a knock when coming back on after suspension. So now a run of huge games, and it's not just the 5 I mentioned. After that is Sheffield United away, Europa League winners in this save, Chelsea away in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. So the next 7 matches or so, probably season defining for us because we still want that first Carabao Cup crown. It's the one that got away. We've got Liverpool in the league, which is going to be huge. There's a lot of it we've probably got to see, as well as Arsenal being the next closest contenders from there. So let's go and get through to the first match tonight, a big one away in Spain. Can we do the job? Can we see ourselves through? And can we get in that top 8 to avoid the extra 2 games? Because we saw the problems that caused last year. A centre-half for Atletico Madrid today, a familiar face. A former player in Hector Sanchez, the Mexican centre-half. Ibrahim on the left wing, we know the quality of. And plenty of others that are still pretty good. So let's go to the team selection and show you what I've gone for, which is still a little bit rotated in fairness. Liban Elmi is not fit yet. Kivrakidis and Robertson both got knocks. A couple of others still out, Teddy Ivanov being one of them. We also have a couple of players out of form, so Ryan Adamson, one of them. Rakoski is one who it's been suggested might need a rest soon, so we're probably about 5 players down from our first 11. Quetta is in goal though. We bring Memic back in. He had a rest at the weekend. So I'm still trying to do 2 or 3 changes per game. Alongside him at the back are Hansen and Herbert as centre half with a left back Carlos. He's the one that I can't really rest that I worry about. Catala's doing really well on the right. Vasquez in on the left. Bernberg returns in central midfield alongside Ivo Torres. And then up front is Nanafer and Joe Wills. Been the only 2 fit strikers for a month now. We've had Robertson, Vasquez, even Gulford, the young Norwegian, playing up front at times. But overall, Nanafer's been scoring for fun and Joe Wills set a few up. So I can't have too many complaints. Let's go and get through to the big game away. The repeat of last year's Champions League final. I'll take a repeat of the scoreline right now, as it'll virtually send us through in the top 8. Well, still plenty of the team that were in that final last year. And on the bench, a few more of them as well. Ashley Clifford. Also Manuel there, who scored in that final and is a transfer target for the long term. I should mention as well, we'll have a look later on if we get a chance. We have got a big January signing pre-agreed. Not financial terms, but according to the scouts in terms of quality. So we'll have a look at them. I think the scouts have overrated him, but you can see if you agree or disagree. Let's go and get through to the first half though. The Champions League music is here. We know the team, we know the quality. Let's see if we can deliver. Atletico Madrid are going to be tough opposition, and away from home, a very different thing to a neutral venue for a final, isn't it? Short corner routine, which did catch us out in that final once, and here they come in from it straight away. Thankfully high and wide. Got to give a shout out to Quetta, who has started to find real form now. He's finally starting to look like a bit of a Jude Sadler replacement, which after the bit of a worrying spell with Bettini seems to have come along. I liken it to when United made their changes in goal over the years. They had Schmeichel, Barthez, and they had Van der Sar. But in between those periods, they had a few duds. So maybe that's what Bettini was to us. As Stankovic has the ball in goal here for Xhaka. Out to the right-hand side. Atletico definitely in control at this first quarter of an hour. But can we nick it and get downfield? Carlos does just that. He turns back, goes into Bernberg. Has accepted being a squad player. Came to complain about football, as a few have this year. But he's accepted to just be a squad player. We've had a couple of others that have reduced their terms. Vucic has signed a new deal with reduced terms as well. And we've also got players who have been happy to be loaned out in January, like Muscat, who's barely getting a game now. We are a little short up front, as we've seen in recent weeks, but injuries have curtailed us slightly. As Ingo Atletico Madrid, did Memic play him on? That's the only question. He must have done, because there's no sign of the linesman there. So I think, unfortunately, this is going to count. If it does, we've got to blame Memic. Disallowed. Apologies, Armin. He stepped up in time. 15 gone. Been all Atletico. But it's still 0-0, which is all I care about. And they've got the ball again. And that is starting to worry me. Because every time we come back, they're flying forward. John Carey gets it on the right-hand side. Into Alonso. Cuts back again. Across the box. Oh, that's terrible from Memic. I just gave him an apology a minute ago. He completely abdicated responsibility there. It's passed on his man when it's his to mark. And Atletico go 1-0 up. And this has been a terrible performance. You know, I mentioned it about a year ago. I thought about, as we nick the ball with Nanafer, hang on, puts it just wide. I thought about changing a tactic away in Europe and in the big league games to that sort of 4-3-3, just being steady and solid. But then we went and won the Champions League last year. And we beat a few decent sides on the way, albeit out of form teams. And it made me sort of rethink it. I don't know whether it's the right thing. Again, especially without strikers. Maybe we try it if we get level today, as Nanafer has put us level right on cue. Lovely finish there. Katala passed it to him. And completely against the run of play with half an hour gone. Southend United level, picking up points again. Well, we're at the other end for a corner kick, and it doesn't look like this one's going to be going short from Atletico. It's into the front post. And Hector Sanchez should have scored against his former club. Wasn't a massive threat for us. It was more Herbert doing the goal scoring. But when you're unmarked, I guess anyone's a threat. As Memic has a throw at the other end. Been chances at both ends of the pitch in this half. And although we've been second best for the most part, we have created some good ones. And that cross has left the goalkeeper and our former centre-half in no man's land. Sanchez is credited with the mistake. And maybe he wants an assist. Joe Wills gets the goal. And that's a pretty big one for him. He's had an average season so far. At half-time, with Livan Elmi returning to fitness, he needs to do well if he wants to stay in. We don't deserve to be 2-1 up, but we'll certainly take it. We're going to say, though, no complacency, boys. If I need to, we'll go 4-5-1 later. Well, we're back just 5 seconds after the kickoff, as Carlos has got the ball on the left-hand side to Vasquez. Wouldn't mind starting with a goal. as Vasquez breaks down the left. I did talk to you, of course, about that brilliant run defensively where we've not conceded more than a goal in a game. But we all know what happens sometimes, don't we? We just randomly let in three as Torres wins the challenge but doesn't keep the ball. Ibrahim gets down the left-hand side. I'm just getting ready to say there it is, back to the edge of the box. Lano with space 25 yards out. It's a good save from Cusqueta. Up to his left. Almost one of the goals of the season. God, you really are pushing it now, aren't you? Someone wants Atletico to win in the commentary booth. We're 10 gone in the second half. It's us who hold the lead. Well, with 25 to go, I think it's time we look at some subs because there are people struggling out there at the minute. Carlos at left back is one of them, so Andre's going to come on. Rakowski I really wanted to give a rest to here, so I'm going to leave Herbert out there. Then we're also going to take off a nervous Peter Bernberg for Marciano. Muscat will replace Torres. Vasquez replaced by Adamson. Then we've got one more sub, but I can't really make the change I wanted to because Nana Fair and Joe Wills have to stay on. We've got no strikers on the bench. And the only other one that could have played there is Vasquez, but he's not really played that well today, so I don't know that I want to leave him on. Could we maybe chuck him up front? Yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll leave Vasquez on. We'll put him up front for Nana Fair. And then we can save the last sub for something else in a few minutes. It's 25 to go. We're 2-1 up. We have to trust the squad at this point. We look the fresher. We look the fitter at the minute. We're 20 to go. We've only got to hold on. There's nothing more to it. Memic is struggling at right back now. So if we can see out this highlight, I'll probably do that and replace him with Ivusic. As Clifford gets down the right. Tell you what, Croatia have got two decent right backs on their hand, haven't they? As Lano gets in. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. It's back to Clifford. Across the box to Ibrahim. What a save, Cusqueta. Right on cue as well. I talked about how brilliant he's been in the recent weeks and months. And that save is something particularly special. But again, it was Memic losing his man. So Ivusic on the fresh legs will help. It's back to the short corner routine for Atletico. This time we close it down. We do incredibly well. 15 to hold on. Oh, I don't like the look of this. That is definitely a foul throw from Ivusic for a start, but let's carry on anyway. Marciano picks it up in central midfield, back to the goalkeeper. Now we can play out down the left with Andre, who should be very fresh. Space to run into, finds Joe Wills. That touch is beyond diabolical. I don't even have the word for that. Went at least 20 yards straight to the Atletico man, and it's almost cost us a goal. Cusqueta again does well. Not sure how the striker tried to finish that, but it gave us a chance, which I'm grateful for. As Lewis Herbert plays out to Andre and Vasquez. Inside to Joe Wills. Andre again. Support from Lewis Herbert. Wide to the left-hand side. Vasquez is there. Through ball towards Wills, who's not going to make that. Hector Sanchez mops up, but Marciano straight back on it. We've won the ball back in their half as Muscat finds Adamson. His touch is poor, as is his form generally. Ivusic to Hansen though, and we're camped in their half. Exactly what we want when already ahead. Now can we be patient and find the right breakthrough? Up to Katala. Support from Ivusic. Takes on the fullback. Chance to cross. Will he deliver? To the byline he goes. Good ball in. Wills is up. Vasquez is there. Neither of them win it. I've just seen that Adamson's gone up front again now. Something's gone awry. Vasquez has stayed on, but the sub went wrong. No wonder we're having such trouble there. Let's get him up front. And hopefully that'll work a bit better. Well, we're into 5 minutes of stoppage time as it goes quiet near the end. Katala's really becoming a star now, but it doesn't matter. We're going to drop to a 4-4-1-1 because Vasquez can play number 10. I think that just gives us a bit more solidity in midfield as an attacking mid on support. Allows both of the others to sort of be playmakers. Maybe as a support duty there. And then allows both fullbacks to stay defensive because we don't need anything from them going forward now. It's the sort of thing I've learned a little bit more in the last year or two, particularly with some of those big game defeats. We need to be a bit more careful in these games. We don't need to be afraid of just sitting behind the ball, adjusting the shape to something a bit more defensive late in matches. We've done it a few times. Did it against Chelsea at the weekend. And we're doing it again here. Let's confirm the changes. There's 3.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. Atletico started like a house on fire. Definitely the better team of the two. A Southend United win by 2-1. We've been on the other end of it enough times in this save. I'm not complaining one bit. Great football. Both strikers score. Now we've got to get them recovered because it's Arsenal, one of the big four, in a few days' time. Well, back to what we're used to with a whole glut of fitness tests ahead of the big game. We've got Liban Elmi back and hopefully fit enough to be at least on the bench. Mehmet struggling after his midweek performance where he didn't look right, to be fair. Robertson and Gouliard should both be alright too. So let's see how we get on in this one because it's an opportunity for both of us. Liverpool drew with United earlier on in the early kickoff, another big match there. And it does mean that as well as Everton's draw at home, Arsenal can go up to second level with us, ahead on goal difference if they win by 2 or 3. And we can go level on points with Liverpool and only behind on goal difference. So opportunities for both of us to show what we've got. Still one original in the Arsenal team in Ethan Waneri, who's expected to play centre midfield. Our former player Aaron Berek has made it here as well. So there's a few that you're seeing that are fairly familiar. Reichlich at left right back is a player we've looked at before. And Luke Robertson up front. God knows how many goals he scored against us now. So let's put this squad together and work out what we do. We're going to have to rest a few in this one or the United game because otherwise we're going to be in deep trouble. I'm going to bring Adamson back in on the left for Vasquez. Up front, I might even start Elmi because Wills is struggling a bit. I think I'm going to play safe and chuck him on the bench. Vasquez probably the man to drop out there. Jorg Robertson has got to be involved, but again, it probably will be from the bench. He's had injuries recently. We want to look after him a little bit. Rakowski will come back in, I would imagine. He'll play at centre-half instead of Hansen. Is everyone else there all right? It's just Memic, isn't it? So I'm going to bring in a Vucic at right back for Memic. The subs bench will then be a little stronger. Bernberg is the other one to drop out at the expense of Kivrakidis. That's going back to my preferred choice. Then we just get the bench sorted and we'll confirm it. But the changes from the start, definitely a few that are needed to freshen us up. Vucic in at right back, Rakowski returns right centre-half, Kivrakidis in centre midfield, and Adamson over on the left. 4 in total. Elmi back to fitness on the bench. We'll make a few more adjustments to it. We'll get ready for kickoff. Well, 4 changes for Arsenal, who today are without the player they stole on a free agent from us 18 months ago. Darnell Furlong's side, without De Palma, was very much their main man. But they've got a former player, Aaron Berek. They've got the original Ethan Waneri. And to be fair, Darnell Furlong's done a good job in charge there. Definitely got them back amongst the elite, albeit without really pushing over that line in the big ones. So let's tell the lads to prove a point. We've got a half fresh and half fatigued team. It's going to be the same again the next few matches as well. So let's just hope we can keep stumbling over the line. I don't need these results to be pretty. I just need us to stay in contention. Well, just over 10 minutes on the clock here. It's been a much quieter start to this game, but we are back with possession on the left-hand side. Adamson getting it from Joe Wills, and he cuts it back to Carlos, who does well to get there first. Good delivery as well. Goalkeeper's in no man's land. And Torres on the rebound tries to sort of head it over the keeper and lob him almost with it, but can't quite get it right. Still a positive start though. 20 minutes gone and no sign of Arsenal on the attack so far. Or a return with them in possession here. Cross into the box, headed away. And here is Reichlich, a former transfer target. Gives it straight to Adamson. Maybe he thought he was playing for the other team. I don't know. Carlos cuts it inside to Herbert. Oh, he's done the same thing. Lewis Herbert. I mean, we mentioned he was fatigued in midweek. He'd not had a great game. But that is literally a 5-yard pass straight to Luke Robertson. He lays it off, gets the assist this time. That's a disastrous way to concede. Do we recover from it? That's the next question. Let's throw a bit of encouragement and hope for a response. We're just a couple of minutes to go until half-time, and we've really seen nothing since we conceded. That goal has swung the momentum in this game massively. And I just wonder whether that's going to be it for Herbert now. Is it going to be the end of a run of games? Because he was due a rest. I was trying to get through one more. Rakowski's been struggling as well. It's another area we're a little short. Do we have to recall Vite again? 4 minutes of stoppage time played. We're 1-0 down at the break. It's not great, is it? We'll give it 10 minutes. We'll try and get a response. But then maybe we've got to throw a few of the big guns on. At least now we have got Elmi on the bench. We've got Robertson back. There are a few big attacking stars. But defensively, we're a little short. Again, Carlos Buchton struggling. Torres fatigued as well now. There's 58 gone. I'm waiting no longer. Wills off for the return of Liban Elmi. Robertson on for the fatigue Katala. Torres off for Marciano, who scored the winner at Chelsea a week ago. And Jan Carlos off for Andre. 4 changes made. To be honest, Bernberg's the only other very good one I've got left. It's probably going to end up being Hansen for Herbert, but we know the threat he's got from a set piece as well. We've been the better side. They've had 1 shot on target, Arsenal, which was a gift from us. They've created absolutely nothing from open play. And it would be really frustrating if we lost this one. But we do look like we're just running out of steam now. Herbert's one of the most tired in the team. That never happens. I'm going to have to do it. Soren Hansen on will allow us to go attacking for the final 10 without fear of fitness at the back. So let's do it. We'll go attacking. We'll chase the game. We'll throw one more bit of encouragement and we'll hope for a response. We've got to throw on the right with a Vucic. Can we make it count? Jorg Robertson. Inside to Marciano. 3 in the middle. Goes wide to Adamson. Overlapping is Andre. Can he find the right cross? He beats his man to the byline. Adamson again. Into Elmi. Back to Marciano. Oh, no mistake from the penalty spot last week. But this time, that is a gilt-edged chance. And this is turning into a proper FM in. Arsenal have 1 shot on target from a gift. We have 16 shots, 4 on target. 4 times the expected goals. And we don't make it count. A 1-0 defeat. And much like the Villa game a month or so ago, we just keep throwing them in. Very, very frustrating. We look brilliant at times, but not consistently enough. And we end yet another European week with more frustration. And now with big games to come, probably puts us in trouble too. Well, there is the Rakowski fitness concern again, as just 3 points separate the top 3, 5 points separate the top 4, and Hull City absolutely flying behind them, which is a weird one. But if we go and have a look at the schedule, I'm not really sure what to show next. Rennes are a good side, but I think we're going to try and do a split double header if we can. I think I'm able to do it tomorrow. So for the next episode, we're going to play Liverpool at home in the Premier League, which is a massive match, as is United in midweek, but we've just got to try and get through that. Liverpool are the champions, they're top of the division. We're going to show that match. Then we're going to play 2 off camera. And then we're going to show Chelsea away in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. Because, look, that's the trophy we're still here for. We would have resigned at the end of last season if we'd already won that. We've lost 2 finals in a row. And I am desperate to win that competition. So that's what we're going to show. Liverpool at home, Chelsea away. Hopefully a better time than in the second game of this one. But now that we're basically through in the Champions League, 13 points, we should win one of the others to get into that top 8 because Copenhagen and Ajax at home, 2 very winnable matches. As a result of that, I will rest everyone against Rennes and we'll just try and make it work for those big matches because after that, we've got a run. I know Hull are flying, but of games that are a bit more winnable. So if you enjoyed this one, a big win in a repeat of the Champions League final, but a big defeat when it mattered most in the Premier League, and please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know what I should prioritise and where you think we're going to have the most success this year. And can I please finally win that Carabao Cup? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. If you want to stay up to date, find out how we get on next time, see whether the League Cup dream ends again, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back tomorrow with the coach's head save, a big season from that one, and lots of interesting stuff going on as we approach the January transfer window. We've also got links up in the eye above to the Twitch channel and the football podcast for loads of regular content there too. And I also remember, I forgot to show you the new signing that the director of football's going for in January. This is the player he's agreed, Juan Manuel Garnier. This would be a good way to know if everyone's watched to the end, wouldn't it? 10 million quid from Boca Juniors, a 20-year-old wonder kid. I mean, he's very good, but I don't think he's 4-star ability. That's saying that he's as good as Bernberg or Kivrakidis. I think when he comes in, the coaches might say, actually, maybe 2.5, maybe 3, maybe a little bit lower, maybe a player for the future. We'll see, but he will be joining us in January. In the meantime, I'll see you in a couple of days' time as the Carabao Cup dream. Finally, we want to put it to the end. We're in the quarterfinals. I'll see you next time to see if we can get through.